Hi. Hello. Welcome to this tour of my sketchbook, which I have been filling over my last 2 months spent in these locations, which I have helpfully enumerated on the front cover. I drew these stars. I did not draw this woman. This is an illustration by John Carling. I made this sketchbook at 3 in the morning the night before I left for my trip. My flight was at 8 in the morning, so this was a choice. My first drawing was done on the 14-hour flight from Singapore to London. On said flight, I got my period, which was such a lovely surprise. And what I really wanted to do when I was in that immense amount of pain in a closed vestibule was to assume a fetal position, or at least to squat. But alas, I could not do so because I was stuck in the window seat. Instead, what I did was I drew pictures of myself squatting so I could live vicariously through my doodles. This is me as a baby squatting. This is me not as a baby squatting. This is me not squatting. And this is not me squatting. This is Freya demonstrating perfect squat form for us. This was drawn on the coast of Cornwall, where my brother took us for a lovely walk. I sketched some street performers in London. I only caught them during their last song, so I did not have very long to sketch them, but I think I got the chalice all right. Did a little doodle of Tyler while we waited at the train station because we missed our connection and then had to wait an entire hour. Drew the coast of Cornwall again. I think I did this one after the fact from a photo, and that's probably why it isn't very good. I lost this game of dots and boxes, unfortunately. While we were in England, we stayed at this beautiful little cottage that had the most wonderful garden ever, so I drew some of the flowers there, and the little creek that was running along the place. And if you walked up this fence and onwards, you would reach the Morven Hills. Sorry, plant. Which legend tells it are the hills that composer Elgar sat on while he was writing his music. Yeah. I met Ben while I was in Chicago, my friend Ben. I drew him, and he drew me, and we appeared to be having an incredibly erudite conversation over a sophisticated glass of wine. I drew Tyler at the Adrian Lenker concert, which was the most wonderful concert ever. Not sure why I drew Tyler in this period costume. I do know why he is holding a pie. The opening act was singing about apple pie, so I thought I should include that. And as she continued with her set, I just live doodled some of the things she was singing about. It was very dark in the room, so I couldn't really see what I was drawing, but I managed to draw some fireflies and some people kissing, a hot air balloon. I think this was Cassiopeia. Yeah, something happened there. And I did not do much drawing at the actual Adrian Lenker set because I was too busy crying. I kept a tally of the number of times I cried, and it was 13. Her music is beautiful, and it made me very sad. Here's a little doodle of Tyler, and here he is again at the beach. I drew this from a photo after the fact, and I kind of stretched it horizontally, accidentally, but it looks fine. Tyler's foot and Tyler's face. I've been trying to get into color pencils because I haven't had much practice with them before, and they're a handily portable medium. I drew Tyler and his parents yawning. Everyone was very sleepy that day, it seems. Then we visited the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center. And here is Grizzly and here is Wolf. But honestly, I was more interested in the mice that were there They were in some great positions. This one was like a meerkat. This one's squeaking. And the frogs were actually the best things to draw because they actually stayed still. They just kind of stared at you from out of the darkness. Salamander. Yeah. I drew the cabin in Montana, trying to do perspective. Thought I should probably get some practice with that. I got very attached to this chair. I read a lot of Agatha Christie sitting in that spot. I don't like this page. Let's not talk about it. I tried to draw frogs from memory without looking up what a frog looked like, and clearly I have no idea what a frog looks like because this is not an amphibian. I don't think any of these are amphibians. This one appears to be in space. This one is a chocolate chip cookie. This one's pretty cute, but this pen was quite smudgy, so I smudged it a lot. It looked a lot better before that. Here we have some gnomes going about their gnomey business. This one's flying. These ones are doing some toadstool related acrobatics. This one has some communications device. This one's just chilling and reading his book. Some color pencil doodles of Tyler. I really like this one in particular. This one's just scary. Snails. Yeah. This one of Tyler and me is from a picture I took of us in the car. My face was doing something very strange in this photo, and I would also like to point out that I won this game of dots and boxes. Redeemed myself. I drew Tyler and his family at a restaurant. None of these caricatures are very flattering. We went to the graveyard. There was a grave with a dog on it. Here is Tyler drawing that same grave. I convinced Tyler to go with me to do goat yoga, which was so fun. I love goats, and he did make fun of me for this and called me a millennial for suggesting such an activity, but it was a good time. This red one is Tyler carrying a goat. Tyler drinking a miso soup before we went to the Art Institute with Ben. Ben drew this one. He said that she looked stinky, so he added some flies to reflect that. Tyler looking at a painting at the Art Institute. A sketch of a painting that was there. A sketch of a random man who was there, who called himself the Sasquatch, so I added a label to reflect that. Here is Ben. Here's Ben again, eating corn from a cup. He said that this cup of corn wasn't very good, but he appears to be enjoying himself in this portrait. Here is more Ben. This time he is being an iPad baby. Sleepy Tyler. By this point, I think I was getting much better at using colored pencils. I really like this one. I think the forehead's good. And while waiting for my flight home, I drew some of the people at the terminal. There was this one white guy with dreadlocks who was doing some kind of interpretive dance / yoga, which I laughed at first, but then I realized that if one is going to sit on a 20-hour flight, then it's probably a good idea to get some stretches in. So good for him. Yeah, and that's all I drew. Yay! I think this is the first time I've actually finished a sketchbook from start to end. It isn't a very long one, but I used all the pages. Yay! My sketchbook before this I was getting close to finishing, but then I dropped it in a puddle of piss outside. So, yeah, it's been abandoned. On that note, goodbye.